Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news surrounding a North Fargo crash involving a semi that claimed the life of a 58-year-old man. Fargo police have identified Hassan Sharif Ali of West Fargo as the man who was killed in that crash in the 1100 block of 45th Street North, involving a vehicle and, as we said, a tractor trailer. Authorities say Ali was taken to a local hospital where he later died from his injuries. That crash is still under investigation. Authorities are not releasing any further information at this time.
And I think there's a lot of question marks with the city of West Fargo in regards to what's gone up so far, right? Some of the things just don't make sense. They're in really goofy places.
Neighbors in West Fargo say they're concerned as plans for two different development projects are now in the works. The first sits on 52nd Avenue South and 9th Street, slotted as a 55 and older community. The other, a possible commercial retail spot on Cheyenne Street and 47th Avenue. Today, Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Bailey Hurley, talked with neighbors in the area who say this isn't what they signed up for.
What's wide open land now will likely soon be a neighborhood for what's called active adults. Heritage Homes says the 22-acre spot will house 77 high-end homes as well as a $500,000 clubhouse, something they say will be harmonious to their neighboring development. But homeowners in the Wild say they're not so sure.
And it just seems like a really silly spot, Bailey, that they'd build it on the very end of a really busy road that's undoubtedly going to be stressed out with traffic and growing city development over the next few years. It just seems like a really goofy location.
And just to the north, although zoning has yet to be done, in a flyer to neighbors, Goldmark claims the land just off Cheyenne and 47th Avenue has been rezoned to commercial, with rumors of an apartment retail complex.
I don't think there's any person in this entire neighborhood, world, city, Fargo, that would want a commercial development right on your property.
Goldmark says nothing has been set in stone yet and says they are aware of neighbors' desires to keep the land residential. But the Sturlugsons say that doesn't ease their nerves yet.
But then when you start just plopping down a commercial property in the middle of all these residential, it just doesn't feel like it's planned.
Neighbors tell me in the meantime, they will continue trying to talk with city leaders and showing up to planning meetings, all telling me they just want their voices and concerns to be heard before it's too late.
To be frank, I think if these developments do go through in the next year or two, you're going to see citizens like me and my family move back to the Twin Cities because the cost versus reward just isn't there.
In West Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The West Fargo Planning and Zoning Commission will be meeting again on Tuesday, January 14th to talk about this project. We had a lot of sunshine today. On a positive note, on a not so great note, there's an Arctic blast happening this evening. Let's find out what we can deal with, what we will be dealing with this evening with Hutch and No Wait Weather. Hutch?
Well, needless to say, with the word Arctic, it's going to be cold. Temperatures have been falling throughout the day. As we take a look at the satellite, we see a band of clouds, though, from the southern valley into central portions of North Dakota along the leading edge of that cold front that is working its way southward into the region. There's the Arctic slap of air, and it's going to be most pronounced in the northern valley and northwest Minnesota, where we are already well below zero. Look at Grand Forks, 9 below, 5 below in Bemidji this hour, and 2 below here in Fargo and in Fergus Falls, holding on to above zero readings, though, in the James and Cheyenne River valleys. Temperatures will continue to dive as we'll reach lows in the teens and 20s below for some of our area. Tomorrow looks a little brighter, a little better, but not without a few hitches in the giddy up. I'll have details on what you can expect as warmer air returns to the valley here and just how low we go tonight here in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Hutch. A Minnesota woman is now sentenced to life in prison after pleading guilty to first-degree murder for murdering a woman and taking her identity. Officials say Lois Reese pleaded guilty this morning in Lee County, Florida. Reese was accused of killing her husband in March of 2018 before running south. She then shot and killed Pamela Hutchinson, a stranger who she met shortly after arriving in Florida, in order to assume the victim's identity. After stealing Hutchinson's car, a nationwide hunt eventually led authorities to Reese, who they believe was trying to run to Mexico. Reese will serve life in prison for Hutchinson's murder. A judge has sentenced a 17-year-old to 5 years in prison for taking part in an attack on guards at a youth corrections center in Mandan. Officials say Elijah Barse and 3 other youth were accused of the attack in January of 2018. The teenagers attacked the guards in order to escape. In one case, they were accused of choking one of the officers until he was nearly unconscious and handcuffing him. Barse, the last of the teens to be sentenced, pleaded guilty in adult court back in August. A Lake Park Audubon teenager had his hands extra full today. The 14-year-old raised over $13,000 to feed some of his classmates. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard found out that this year's money will feed 50 kids.
Cream and mushroom soup for green bean casserole. It's pretty much all the classics.
Sam Bestie is a teenager with a big heart.
Each family is going to get a ham dinner, a turkey dinner, a spaghetti dinner, stuff to make pizzas even. So yeah, they're gonna have a lot of food for over the holidays.
He set a pretty good size goal for himself this year, and he crushed that. Almost doubled what his goal was, and his goal was nothing small.
The goal was $7,500. He raised over $13,000.
It's the Lake Park Audubon people that we live with, because they stepped up this year, and everybody just kept saying, "Sam, what do you need? What do you need?" He took the bull by the horns. He was on the phone with Tony from Cashwise. He was on the phone with all the people who were donating, and he learned a lot about logistics. He learned a lot about volunteers.
So after all of the phone calls and all of the reaching out on social media, the work paid off. So much so that Sam needed to upgrade to a big box truck this year, because he found out he was feeding 50 families.
I got a card last year, and they said it made their Christmas. That's the best thing that they received all Christmas, and just to have them be able to eat and not worry about it over Christmas break really made a difference.
And what has Sam learned the most?
How to be more humble, that's for sure.
The last stop on Sam's map is Lake Park Elementary School on Thursday. He and his family will drop off the truck in hopes of making everyone's holiday a little bit more joyous. In Moorhead, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
And there's still time to give. If you're interested in Sam's Meals for Many, head to our website for free at valleynewslive.com. Today was Toys for Tots Distribution Day at Salem Evangelical Free Church East Campus in Moorhead. Organizers say there was no pre-registration, so children from ages 1 through 18 were able to come pick up gifts.
I would say the smiles on their face when they get here. And the kids are excited, the parents are excited, and it just adds to the time of year.
The event started at 9 this morning and wrapped up around 3 this afternoon. Today, one lucky Minnesotan woke up a millionaire. The Minnesota Lottery says the ticket sold at the Hermantown General Store in Hermantown matched all 5 numbers: 4, 14, 23, 31, 34. The jackpot for last night's Go for 5 drawing was worth $1.6 million. The winner has not stepped forward yet. Officials say the Hermantown General Store will also receive $5,000 as a bonus for selling that winning ticket. The doors have closed to Kmart shoppers, but the owners of the vacant building on South University say they've got some ideas for the future, ideas that they're not ready to share just yet. Andrew Grove is a partner with GFI Dakota. He tells Valley News Live that they plan to bring in an architect at the end of January. He says they were expecting Kmart's departure at some point and that they hope the next step will bring something new to the neighborhood, something he says will help revitalize the South University corridor. Coming soon from the feds and the NCAA, more of the bounty of college athletics to be shared by the athletes that bring in that bounty. That's the common goal as a Senate panel and the NCAA convened this morning, the first of many collaborative conversations surrounding the issue of college student-athlete compensation. Senators Mitt Romney and Chris Murphy led this morning's session along with NCAA President Mark Emmert, as a handful of states have already adopted laws to address the compensation issue.
I would like to see us work with the NCAA and work with student athletes to try to come up with a federal solution that not only addresses the issue of having access to revenue through name, image, and likeness, but also speaks to issues of broader compensation and perhaps a fairer mechanism of compensation.
Senators Cory Booker and Marco Rubio are also on the committee, but were not in attendance this morning. And this reminder, the Bison football team will be at home this weekend competing against the Montana State Bobcats. The game starts at 1 live from the Fargo Dome, and you can watch it on ESPN2. Also, don't forget to tune in for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show at noon on KVLY. And then at 10:30 Sunday morning, you can catch the Coaches Show with Matt Entz on KX4. As House lawmakers figure out more